Okay guys, let's just have a look at this here guitar. Gonna put my real fine reading specs on for this one. Yeah. Well. Wait, oh, what? Oh, dang it. Oh, there, we got it. There's a flaw. I knew it, there's a flaw. I swear it's right there, guys, right there. Hey, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding, guys. Hey, this is Rock Hard Riffs, the guitar channel for the self-taught. If you happen to be new to our channel, please check out some of our other videos. And if you like what we do, please subscribe. We'd really appreciate that. Now, guys, I'm kidding. I do think that sometimes Trogly's goes a little too far, but I'm going to explain why. I actually think that the channel does a service to both the customer and the guitar companies. But the issue I have with Mr. Trogly's channel is it's not any type of real personal issue or anything. It's just the power of suggestion is so strong sometimes. I think I'm talking about possibly like pickup cavities where the router bits were maybe not as sharp as they could be, and they've left a tiny bit of frayed wood here and there and that sort of thing. Now, I know why he's going over that, and I know why he's saying that to you, because if you're going to spend your money on something, and especially like the more expensive guitars, Gibsons, etc., if you're going to spend that kind of money, then they had better pay attention to detail, and that is the type of detail that he's talking, and that's the type of detail that companies like Gibson have marketed themselves by. So, to a certain degree, they should be studied with a microscope to a certain degree. The only problem is that people can be very, very, very impressionable. And the other issue is like words. They are like bullets. Once they leave your mouth, you cannot bring them back. So the second that you bring up a negative thing, like say a cavity, a pickup cavity that hasn't been routed as cleanly as it could be, that creates a negative connotation immediately in the viewer's brain. And again, it's the power of suggestion that is so strong that, let's think about it this way. Let's take the tone wood argument. Even the people that propagate the tone wood idea say themselves that it's about a 5% influence on the tone of the guitar. Now, personally, I'd call that negligible. I'd say that's just not enough to make really any real difference. But yet, the tone wood argument persists. Why? Because the implication or the suggestion of the woods is so powerful, some people just cannot get it out of their minds. And it's also the power suggestion of the visual aspects of things too. Okay, take mahogany. You'll say to somebody that this is made of mahogany. You kind of automatically relate that to a deep, dark wood. Then mention maple. Oh, light, shiny, bright, right? It's the power of suggestion that people are following, not necessarily the truth. It's the perception of things that we tend to follow sometimes, not necessarily, again, the truth. So when you send that bullet out of cavities not being routed properly, or there might be a little smudge on the binding on a guitar, again, that sends that negative connotation and you cannot take it back. Now, I have reviewed just about all the guitars that you've seen over here. I have this one particular. Let's take this Epiphone Casino that I have right here. Now, take a look at my review of this guitar if you'd like to. I've done a couple of them. You will never know the negative aspects of this guitar, though there are some. Okay, now let's talk about it. The E itself, the letter E on the pickguard is not fastened properly. It's loose. Part of it isn't even attached at all. Some of the painting around the F hole is not so on the line. They kind of painted outside of the lines a little bit. Well, those are the kind of things that Trogly is going to mention. And I definitely understand from a business viewpoint, from a professional standpoint, I understand why you're doing that. Because if they're going to charge you that much money, they had better pay attention to the brown M&M clause in the contract, right? So to speak, meaning pay attention to detail is what he's talking about. The only problem is, I won't mention those things about certain guitars because The positive aspects of this guitar so outweigh anything negative about it. I'm not going to create those negative bullets out there that might create that little twinge, that little thing that keeps people from actually buying it or even considering it because of me. It's not going to happen. I don't do that. That's not what this channel is about. And I understand Trogly's point of view too. I ask you to consider this. Consider the marketing budgets of corporations. They are absolutely gigantic. Why? Because it works. That's why, right? They spend a gigantic amount of their budget just on creating the perception of their product. And by going and shooting bullets, if you want to keep calling that, maybe I shouldn't say that, just remarking on little flaws that really don't matter. Even in Trogly's videos, he says, after the fact, when he should do it completely opposite, in my opinion, that's all, that he mentioned these things and then later says, but that's really not an issue. Well, you just created the issue, right? If you have to mention those kind of things, I would show those post after the fact of the review of the guitar. Now, there was a smudge on the thing. There was a bit of roughness on the fretboard. There was this or that that I could take off with a razor blade and did. Right? Those type of things I would not mention in the review, especially when the positive aspects far, far, far outweigh the negatives. And especially in these Epiphones. Now again, I don't sell anything. I'm not here to sell anything. Nobody pays me. I've not been paid 1 red cent for anything by anyone for anything on this channel, other than ad revenue and selling about 4 t-shirts so far. So again, I really appreciate Trogly, what he does. He's going to keep the guitar makers on their toes. I definitely appreciate that. I think we all should. We all owe him a debt of gratitude for that. But also at the same time, I would advise him to maybe, like I said, dull router bits in pickup cavities, big deal. So what? Okay. Little smudges on binding or frets that are rough, big deal. One thing I would advise anybody and everybody to do when they get a brand new guitar, that's before they even lay their hands on it, necessarily to start playing it, and that's to have it set up by your neighborhood setup, guitar tech or luthier. That's an automatic for me ever since I first started playing. I'll take it in, have it set up, have the frets polished, all that sort of fun stuff. Now you can actually make an honest judgment about that guitar, really, when it comes right down to it. So, but those kind of things should be mentioned, in my opinion, after the fact, not during a review. Again, why do companies invest so much in their marketing divisions of their companies? Because it works. So again, we have to be careful about what we say and do as far as YouTube reviewers, etc. Again, but this is all just my opinion. Let us know what you think, guys. Again, I respect what Trogly does. I think it's a good channel. I'd just be a little more leery about what I said, and that's it. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. We'll see you next video.